new projects about like underwater houses happening now?
I think the U.S. Navy is doing something like it has a lab in Miami, in which I guess they can go online from underwater. That's what the website say. And
It's a lab in which scientists can stay for 1 week, not so much,
yeah,
to study.
and I think there is in Malaysia there is an underwater hotel, also a restaurant, something like that. But not much, not much.
What's the reason?
I think I think the main reason, as I said, was the space. The journey to the space was a bigger dream. It's also interesting to put these two subjects together, because even the ideas that we have about dolphins and whales as very intelligent animals, it's true. It's definitely true. There are experiments that prove this, but it's also something that America was going to communicate to the people in order to dream about aliens and other beings elsewhere in the space as intelligent. So this kind of comparison from the sea to the space is actually very important in the communication that America kept to talk about the water. And then I think when they reached the moon was not so powerful anymore to go underwater. It's also true that part of the money, actually the bigger part of the money, and also the reason because this expedition was located in the Red Sea, is oil. So basically that area is very thin, and it's possible to take out the Saudi oil from there, and I guess they find other way to take the oil out without the need to go underwater with mankind. So.
It's a paradox because now the house we mentioned before, the underwater house, is more or less where the black petrol in Florida is now. So it's kind of strange and sad coincidence.
Thank you.
The house Cousteau built, they were living in a bubble, like you say, of air.
Yeah.
But when they cooked and smoked, that air would become polluted. There's no way the air was exchanged. How does that?
Yeah. It was actually connected to the Rosaldo. It's actually the beginning of the documentary. Jacques Cousteau says that underwater colonies of the future will be completely independent, but we don't really know how this was going to happen. This expedition was done with the help of a outside station that was pumping down
and filtering the air.
They
were smoking so much. For sure, the air inside was not so pure and.
The cooking too.
And two of the divers, they left the first main building to go 2 weeks in the deeper building, and was not allowed to smoke in the deeper building. And in the documentary, you see that the first thing that they do when they come up is light the pipe and light the cigarette. So the reason of the yellow color is very simple, because light changes underwater every meter that you go down, and after a while everything becomes blue. So that's why also wetsuits usually are yellow or purple. They have like these strong colors because they are the colors that are possible to see from outside. But it's not a real explanation, because then Cousteau uses like shining silver wetsuits and other very glam and over-design items. Yeah, I guess it was like the 60s. I don't know. He was stylish.
Even the hat, the famous red hat.
And yeah, this Céline Cousteau told us, because it's a family story. It's very difficult to have access to this kind of information, but apparently her father remembers that they decide to break with a hammer the portholes themselves, in order for the air to go away, in order for the structure to stay there. So we don't really know why, no one knows, but the fact is that the building is still there and still has a bit of air in the space between the portholes and the roof. So it's actually still closed. Well, there are other things that are interesting us about the underwater. We are like trying to imagine some underwater land art now and see how it's possible to express these ideas. And we are discovering that there are a lot of human items that are like lying on the bottom of the ocean. It's a very nice, interesting story. The one of the cable that connects the telephone from London to the one to New York. So there is actually in the 1800s they had two big ships. They met in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and then they start separating and slowly putting this cable down that was going to connect for the first time telegraph and telephone among the old and the new continent. So yeah, we are like researching on these kind of objects that maybe they have the power to become artistic without any other action, because they are still there and they are still connecting.
There are, for example, an interesting system of microphone that the US Army installed in the First and Second World War.
Yeah.
That are spread all around the oceans. That is kind of ears around the ocean that to listen to the U-boat, to the submarine. That now is not used anymore, but it's an interesting system. It's still there, so we are thinking to some big land art sound piece to do.
And another interesting subject that not only physical rules are different underwater, but even rules who describe properties are different, because there is the international law of the sea that says that when lost property is found on the sea, whoever finds is entitled. So basically there is no private property underneath the sea, and with this kind of approach to use whatever is left, we are using all the found material for our research. So even some parts of Jacques Cousteau's work and some of his films and images, we just steal.
It's a pirate approach.
It's a private approach, because we deal with these things as they were left somewhere floating underwater.
I think Cousteau himself, when he invented the Aqualanga, who sponsored his baking project, he found a lot of treasure around the bottom of the sea.
He became extremely rich because he was actually the first person to go underwater. And the archives, they were very precise even in the past, but because when you lose like a ship full of gold, you want to know where the ship is, and but no one could reach. So first by himself, and then with the help of the French government, he took out a lot of treasures.
You mentioned oil and land art, and that reminded me, there's this leak now in the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah. I don't know, the final solution they talk about for sealing it is to lower a giant dome, a giant concrete dome. This is sort of ultimate. Anyway, so you're going to have another liquid door there.
Yeah.
Different locations, right?
Yeah, it's also interesting to say that Jacques Cousteau himself later on realized that the spoliation of the sea had no future, and he stopped experimenting with these kind of underwater living environments that were actually, which purpose was taking out minerals from the bottom of the sea, and he shifted to conservation issues. So that's something that he did also himself.
I was just curious about what led you to this kind of project. It seems to, all kinds of different things seem to converge in it. You know,
ideas around representation, the real, anthropology, all kinds of stuff. What led you to it? What are your backgrounds in?
Our background?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm an architect myself, and Hilario.
I studied museology, history of art, philosophy.
So the idea, something that it's very present, not only here in this little presentation, but in the exhibition that we put together, and the rest of the approach that we have to explain these kind of things, is the use of the museum in a different way. So basically, our early work was much more architecture based. So we did like sculptures directly on the floor of the museum or the gallery space or directly on the walls. And then for this project, we shift our attitude to the fish tank as a space. So
it's again site-specific. It's again related. For us, the aquarium is the blue box instead of the white box of the museum.
yeah, and
So
we were trying to see if it was possible to go against museum theories, against the idea of taking a rock and display it inside a museum, and see if it was possible to express the poetic issues that were related with this building and this colony without actually the need of movement of objects, but just maybe linking ideas.
So I wanted to know, there was one infrastructure that was in the 51-meter level, and I was just wondering what happened to that one.
Would you say
There was 3 levels of some sort of architecture. No, there was the 11,
yeah.
and then there was the 24.
Basically, the deep station fell much deeper. The sea moved. So basically, deep station here is still underwater, but it fell down to 51 meters. So we saw it, and some other divers photographed it, but we didn't have the way to reach it at the time. We are not professional divers, so that's actually kind of deep for us. So basically, the part that we explore is only the first platform up there.
there is still a cage that we saw at 26 that is amazing.
Yeah, there is.
It's no more a cage because it's completely covered by corals and it's like a very interesting arabesque.
Because the thing that this liquid door was separating the domestic life of drinking, smoking, and playing chess to the wildness of the ocean. This area of the Red Sea is full of sharks. There are like huge groups of hammer sharks and other sharks. So they all around they had these shark cages they were maybe shooting the movie and they had to hide in the cage. Even if the sea is so rich there, it's actually not very dangerous because sharks are not hungry at all.
There are still a lot of sharks over there, but they're not so interesting as food.
Well, recently an accident happened. I'm not telling you because you don't want to know. No, it's a very, very terrible story.
But it's not because of the shark, it's because of the stupidity
Of the man, yeah. Yeah, no, anyway, sharks are dangerous and every once in a while someone gets to be eaten, yeah.
So what's your next project? Where do you go from here? Do you go deeper underwater, or what do you do?
That's a good question, but it's very difficult also to answer. I don't know. We just finished to work on this project, and we got invited actually to bring the project to Monaco now. So in April 2011, we'll do another, let's say, the continuation of this project is going to take place in the Oceanographic Institute of Monaco.
in which Cousteau was
the director for 45 years. So actually, that institution is the first one that we start approaching to express the project, but New Yorkers are faster, and that's why we did it in New York. But later on, it's going to be maybe done something there, And I don't know, then inspiration is random. Maybe we will not have any other idea in the future. I don't know.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.